Have you guys figured out that I'm on a bit of a white dialed watch kick? So when this Damasko da37 comes my way, yeah, I'm gonna like it. For one, German, Damasko, white. It's a loom dial. It's gonna have an ETA 2836 movement in it. These are all things that check the box for me, for sure. It has an ice hardened case. It's gonna be crazy scratch resistant. And the only thing this one's excluding is a great bracelet, right? Well, we'll talk about that a little bit in a moment. Case size, 40 millimeter, 48 lug to lug. You can see the drilled lugs. It's only 12.4 millimeter thick to the flat sapphire crystal with AR coating all over the place on it. 20 millimeter lug width here, which is a great lug width, right? We all agree on that. But check out this leather. This is a water resistant leather strap because it's kind of sealed up. They flared it so it kind of meets the tapering of the outside of the lugs. On wrist, this is probably one of the best feeling straps on wrist. And then it also has this little flap here. Makes it a little weird to get the watch on wrist, but once it's on, it completely protects your wrist from any sort of feel of metal on the backside of your wrist. So it aids in comfort even more. In case I didn't mention it, I want to say big thanks to Art, one of my founder members, for loaning this in. He actually has loaned it to a few other channels too, so you've probably seen it over on Bobby Legs and Kevin, Wrong Time Watch, I think. And then after I'm done with it, I'm going to send it over to Chris over at the Watch Lounge. I'll put a link to all their videos in the description down below as soon as they post those. Price tag on this, $1,150. I believe that's like the suggested retail. That's what I see it listed over at Long Island Watch. Again, I'll put a link to, I think, Mark at Long Island Watch, and then I think there's another authorized dealer, Watchman or something like that. I'll put a link to both of them, whatever I can find. I have no affiliation to either of them, so whatever I can find for you guys, I'll put out there, because sometimes these sell out. They don't become available like on a regular basis. Sometimes they, depending on popularity and everything. So, get it wherever you can get it. And I know discount-wise, from what I understand, you may or may not get a very, very small discount. I don't think there's really discounts given out to these. So we can do a close-up real quick. Before that, blacked out sword hand, minute hand covers over the date. You can see that's just below that crosshatch line. There is a crosshatch going all the way over to the 3. You can see the date tucked underneath there. They are separated, so there will be a section of loom in between those, and they are an instant change date. It is a dual language. On the day, it should be English right now, and then German, whatever you want to pick. And you can see a nice sweep of that seconds hand. I love the blacked out handset. The matte blacked out like that is going to show very well when we do the Loom Shot. You'll see that C1 loomed dial is going to glow so good that everything that's blacked out is just going to be very obvious and very legible. Long lasting, from what I understand, it lasts quite a while. I'm not sure if you're going to get a complete cycle of darkness and still have it legible. C1 will peter out after a while. So, but the initial intensity of it is going to be very good. You can see the black printing on the dial is actually kind of glossy. So that's kind of fun. Has a little bit of texture or depth to it. The anti-reflective coating on the top and bottom side of the crystal is spectacular. In most angles, you can basically, it looks like you can just reach in there and touch the handset or the dial. That ice-hardened case is so well done that it is going to look exactly like this for a very long time. It is going to be difficult to get Mars or scratches. You can see there's one right there. Check it out. So it's not impossible. No one's saying it's impossible. It's just going to be difficult. So it is going to look great for a very long time. Here's a look at the case back. Made in Germany, da37, 100 meter water resist. This has one of the best feeling crowns, unthreading and threading back in that I've ever handled on any watch. I think it has, listen, this thing is packed full of German tech. There's all kinds of things. It is 100 meter water resist, right? But it also is capable of a quick negative pressure. When would you encounter that? I don't know. Maybe in an aircraft or something like that. But what could potentially happen in that scenario is the crystal would actually pop out of the watch. Well, they've kind of protected against that with their magic, whatever they do. I don't know. Or no, Germans don't use magic. They use science, right? So you have a nice crown pop to that. This is, like I said, about, I measured it, it's just under 6.5 millimeter crown. The other thing that's kind of crazy is the crown length from here, from where it seats to the case to the outside, is about 4 millimeter tall. It's kind of tall. And I remember in my early days, they used to kind of bug me. It used to kind of dig into my wrist a little bit. But you develop like, I don't know, callus or something. It doesn't really bug me anymore. Nice stiff winding on that. And of course you can pop it out. First position is going to give you your day and date change. And then your last position, it hacks the movement, and then you can adjust the time. You can see the Damasko name there. But virtually no crown wobble. And like I said, when you push it in, you know what, I don't know if you can see it on this one. I know Marquette, that was on the da37. Marquette Long Island Watch showed there was like another gasket in there. I don't know if it's on this one or just the da47. But when you thread it in, like it just grabs the tube so good, and it feels like it's lubed or something, because it just threads right on with zero resistance. It's just so well done. And like I said, the strap is really good. There is a matching bracelet you can buy for $699. The bracelet's awesome. It's ice hardened. It's going to last just as good. It is very well constructed, but it has a butterfly clasp, so it kind of kills it for me. I don't know what it is with the German watches. I cannot find a good bracelet. When I say German watches, I'm usually referring to the Damasko and the Zinn primarily. The Zinn clasp, let's be honest, the Zinn clasp sucks. They need a new clasp. Damasko bracelet is awesome. Butterfly clasps suck. So I think in both scenarios, I like both the bracelets, but they just haven't hit my personal preference for the sweet spot in the clasp department. So for this watch here, I would pretty much wear it on this leather. I wouldn't even try to get the bracelet. I know it would not work for me. Oh, speaking of, I know a lot of my friends pair up their watches with their knives and everything. I happen to pick up this Honey Badger limited edition TNP tuxedo style one. Look how good that matches. I know it's a little bit different tone of white, but it's close. It's pretty good looking. It's not in the dial on this because it is a Loom dial, and it looks white until you put it next to a really white dial. So you can see the difference there. This one's the Seamaster is definitely a white dial. All right, let's pop this thing on wrist, and then we will do a Loom Shot. I'm actually kind of torn. I am heavily thinking about picking up one of these Damasko. I'm not sure if I want this model, the da37, or if I want to pick up and try the da47, which is kind of the same watch, except for it adds a dual time bezel. A nice bezel on it. It has a ball bearing bezel action on it. I don't know. I don't know that I really need the bezel. I think I kind of like the da37. I don't need a fidget spinner on every watch, right? I have one on the Seamaster. I have one on the Breitling. Maybe it'd be nice to have just a regular watch, just like this. So I think the da37 could make the cut. I wore this for like a couple of days, and I was not mad about it at all. It has a nice taper on the leather strap. See what I mean? The metal is isolated from touching your wrist at all because of that leather flap. It's a small little detail, but until you experience it, you're like, oh, that makes it kind of fit a little bit nicer. So there it is on wrist, guys. Let me know what you think on that. Let's pop this thing off wrist and check out this full Loom dial. All right, let's kill these lights. I don't even need to charge it with the UV light or anything. I think the studio light should have done plenty. So you have that beautiful full, I mean it's super legible in the day, and it's crazy legible at night until that C1 peters out. But I love the tone. It's very smooth. I've talked to some companies or some people that own watch companies, and from what I understand, it's not super easy to get a smooth application of Loom on these full Loom dials. Here's another watch, the RZE. This has a BGW9 Loom dial. Also, just very good, clean, smooth application. I think I kind of want both these watches. I know. We want all the watches, right, guys? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Would the Damasko interest you? It certainly has my attention. Thanks for watching, guys.